Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
What is going on, guys? I am now joined by a very special guest, Mr. Julian Gamble, former Miami Hurricane hooper. Julian, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. Enjoying the rest of my day off before I get back to work tomorrow.
You know, when I say, how are you doing tonight? And it's 12 p.m. for me. Obviously, you're in Spain, right? So it's the evening there. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
So usually to start, whenever we have a guest on, we do a little game called All Hype or Sounds Right. What the point of the game is, you're going to tell us if something is all hype or if it sounds right, sounds legit to you.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite game show, All Hype or Sounds Right. With your favorite host, Matty Ice.
Okay, the first one I have for you. Malcolm Grant was the funniest teammate you played with at Miami. Is that all hype or does it sound right?
That sounds right.
Okay.
He's definitely I had a lot of teammates, so he's definitely one of the funnier ones for sure.
Okay. Who was some of the other guys too that were funny?
It just depends. Like James Dews was one of the funnier guys that I got to play with, but you know, a lot of guys were funny and they had their own different ways of being funny.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Dwayne Collins was very funny and he's a great guy, but you would never really know that about Wayne because if you don't really know him, he's kind of soft-spoken. He doesn't really talk a lot, but you know, when you know him and you hang around him, you know, he can be extremely funny. So
Yeah.
And even guys like, you know, Jack McClinton, of course, he has his way around with the comedy too.
Yeah, and Malcolm Grant is also like one of those entertainer types, obviously. So
Absolutely.
that makes sense. All right, the second one I have for you. I hear your wife is a hooper, and that she actually used to play overseas. That's right, right?
Yes.
So all hype sounds right. Your wife has beaten you one-on-one.
That's all hype. I mean, she's beaten me before. I will say that, but it's been, I don't know, maybe a couple of times out of all of the dozens of times that we played. And, you know, I kind of make a little special rule or something to give her a better chance to win. But she's an amazing basketball player. She's actually about to get inducted into the Hall of Fame of her university.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So she can really shoot and she can really play, but she's not 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan. So I can get to almost any shot that she shoots, and she knows that.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It's when I saw that too, I was like, I can just imagine them like playing one-on-one to see who does the dishes or something.
We would do that for sure.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
We would definitely do that. We would play one-on-one for just about anything. I mean, it's just, you know, we love the game. Basketball is something that brought us together. So, you know, we definitely like to have fun with it.
Okay, next one I got for you. I got two more. The next one, though, I know you played in the TBT before, but all hype sounds right. Julian Gamble will play on the Category 5 team next year in the TBT.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
I mean, I've been having some conversations with some of the guys. This past summer, it just didn't work out for some things that I had going on back home. But you know, when you think about being able to represent your school again, there's something special about that. And be around some of those guys that I played with, and also, you know, just for me in particular, I'm a pretty big part of Miami history. So to be able to be on that team and represent that just kind of goes to show that, like, when it comes to alumni and basketball, that we're still all doing it, playing basketball at a high level, and we still want to play together.
Yeah. I would love to see you, Shane, Kenny Kaji. I don't know if he's still playing, and Angel Rodriguez all play on that team. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to Shane about it. I had a conversation with Kenny about it. This isn't recent, like this is in recent years. Also, Tanya. But the thing about it is overseas, like once you kind of get to a point where financially, if you were to get injured, it could hurt you more than it would
Mhm.
playing. Then you kind of, weigh those pros and cons out. But I mean, if we had our free reign of choice, I think it would be amazing to put together the
Mhm.
absolute best 10 or 12 guys from Miami history and put them up against anybody's 12.
Yeah, that would be amazing. All right, the last one I have for you. So you've played with some great point guards, overseas and at Miami. You played with Tadosic, right? You played with
Hmm.
Huertas. Well, you currently play with Huertas right now, someone that played for the
Yeah,
Lakers and, kind of legendary overseas.
yeah,
You also played with Shane Larkin.
yeah.
So I'm kind of putting you on the spot right here. All hype sounds
Hmm.
right. Shane Larkin is the best point guard you ever played with. If you
I
have
would
to,
say, nah, I mean, I would say that does sound right, but
okay.
it just depends on what you're looking for. Because obviously, what Shane has done the past 2 years in his overseas career, his entire overseas career has been nothing short of amazing. But when you talk about guys like Marseille and Teo are some of the best passers to ever play. And these are guys that have been playing professionally for, I want to say Marseille probably has played for since he was maybe 17 or 18. He's been playing pro, and
Mm-hmm.
that's 20 years. So you even talk about a guy like Teo is, I tell everybody, maybe the best anticipator in basketball history. He will pass to a spot that you're supposed to be. So, and he's fearless. So, I mean, but when you talk about a guy like Shane and setting the all time scoring like game record in EuroLeague, scoring 49 is if you haven't been overseas, you may not understand that that's very close to. I think somebody said it's like when Kobe scored 80. Like it really is like that. I mean, it's not easy at all. I mean, it's not easy at all to score double digits year after year after year, but to score 50 in a game like is amazing. So, I mean, I definitely had to go, with Shane over the other two. All due respect, but Shane is my brother. That's my guy, so I got to ride with him.
Yeah. And you referenced Kobe, and I'm wearing my Kobe 81 shirt right now. So that's what a
R.P. Bean.
coincidence. Yeah. Rest in peace, man. So let's dive into, your career at UM a little bit here and stuff. But growing up initially, watching the game of basketball, who were some of the guys that you really watched, and who were some of the guys maybe you patterned your game after?
I mean, growing up initially when I was little, I'm watching like Michael Jordan. I watch all of the players that are coming through Carolina because this is my favorite team growing up. All the way through my high school years. I mean, my loyalty didn't change until I committed and signed to go to Miami. And even still, like, being from North Carolina, basketball is kind of like a religion. So it never
Mm-hmm.
really goes away. So of course I love Michael Jordan. I mean, he was kind of the guy that motivated me to want to play and all of the amazing things that he did. And this is when I was a little kid, but then watching guys like Sean May at Carolina, Jawar Williams, even guys from other schools like James Mays that went to Clemson, Cedric Simmons, PJ Tucker. I mean, these are
Mm-hmm.
all guys that are kind of local to this North Carolina area. And when I was developing to play basketball, I was spending time around them, working out with them, playing pickup sometimes with them, being the young guy that gets to play like the last game or two when everybody's tired. But just to be on the court with the likes of these guys was special, and it definitely helped me. Later on, I really really liked Amari Stoudemire's game. His athleticism, the way he was versatile, how well he played on both ends, and then for me being a lefty and always wanting to play the guard slash forward position, a guy like Lamar Odom was always one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorites. So these are, some of the guys that definitely influenced my game and trying to kind of be the best basketball player I could be.
You referenced Lamar Odom. I can really see that because I think out of all of the bigs that we had at Miami, you were probably the best passer from the post that we that we had for sure. And I think that's
Yeah,
what
I
really
mean,
contributed to that this team being so successful.
yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be a really good passer and be a ball handler and be out on the perimeter a little bit more. Even now, further into my pro career, I've continued to develop, and that's one of my strengths for sure is being able to pass the ball. So, from a big man, like everybody thinks, oh, you just want to pick and roll and get the ball and dunk it. Like I like passing the ball and getting an assist more than I want to score. It's just now in the positions that I'm in, and I know I have to attack the basket where I need to be. If I have the opportunity to pass and I do draw that attention, I'm definitely looking to get somebody else open and, help my teammates be the best they can be.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's fast forward a little bit. You're at Miami. You've been there for, a couple years. Coachell comes in from George
Yeah.
Mason. I believe his first year you were out though due to injury. But you
Yeah.
played for him in the 2012-2013 season. Do you have like any specific story that sticks out that kind of shows the kind of coach he is?
I mean, it was unfortunate and fortunate that the year that Coachell came, that was my 5th year when I tore my ACL. So I sat out that year. But being able to be around him and his basketball mind and the way that he thinks the game, I was very fortunate to be around that. The year that I played, I think it was just kind of a perfect storm. You had so many seniors, so many vets, so much talent, and we were just ready. And Coach L definitely helped give us all the confidence to, go out and be who we were. Majority of his coaching happened in practice. So I've heard people reference like he doesn't really do too much coaching in the game. You don't see him yelling too much. Well, he's preparing you for battle before the battle. So by the time we got to the game, the most of the time he was just telling us like, hey, just relax, calm down, go out, play defense, do what we have to do, get your energy up, talk. And we're gonna do what we have to do. For me, it was a game changer because, in my previous years in playing for Hayes, I felt like I was the victim of a little bit of favoritism at times and not being able to be on the court when I had an opportunity to. And my last year being able to play for a coach that's playing whoever's playing the best. Even early in the season, there were games where I didn't play. And I played a couple of minutes and, later in the season, and after Reggie got injured, I started to start. Even when Reggie came back, he put Reggie back in the lineup because he felt like that's what the team needed. And I agreed with that. And then it ended up changing again to where he wanted me to start. So, I could appreciate that just from the simple fact of, my career was long and I feel like it should have and could have been much more successful had I been given a true opportunity to play in all of the years that I was there.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about that 2012-2013 season. Like going into that season, did you guys know like how good this team was? I looked back and like I looked at the coaches poll, like the preseason coaches poll, and they had you guys finishing like 4th in the ACC.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys at one point you won like 14, 15 games in a row.
Yeah.
Going into the season, like how good did you guys think you were going to be?
I mean, of course, everybody thinks they're a championship team, a championship caliber. I think what set us apart was after the previous season, we lost in the ACC tournament in the first round, I think, to Florida State. And, we had a meeting after we have our team meetings and exit meetings and after the season is over. And, like, we all committed to staying together in Miami for both sessions of summer school up until the next season. So this is 12 weeks of straight working out every single day. You're taking one class a day basically, and you're just in the gym, but we're all together. We're lifting weights together. We're competing, trying to see who's going to be the strongest. We had an amazing strength coach, Jim Crumples, who's now, I want to say, like the director of all of the strength and conditioning at Arizona. So this is a guy that knew his stuff. We had a lot of love and faith in him and what he was doing. And, we just worked. I mean, there's no secret to success. You have to work. So we spent that whole 12 weeks of summer working, and even early in the season, we went through our bumps, losing the game at Florida Gulf Coast,
Yeah.
which ended up not being a bad loss, as everybody saw once the tournament came, what they did. But, going through that and going down to Hawaii and losing 2 out of 3, that was tough. But I think at that point, we kind of made a decision that we were playing too much to what other people were doing and not to our full potential. And I think that's when the run started. I mean, we lost that game in overtime, like at the buzzer on Christmas Day in Hawaii. And we didn't lose another game until I think the second week of February.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that team was amazing. Obviously, I think probably the best team in Miami's history. But I want to ask you about a certain night. January 23rd, 2013. Does that date sound familiar? You guys are playing Duke.
Yeah.
You're playing Duke at home. Number one ranked team. I believe you guys were ranked, I want to say 25th or 24th, around there probably.
We were 25th. We had just gotten to the polls that week as well.
Okay. And so you guys end up winning 90-63 in what was an amazing game. I remember, I think Dick Vitale was doing the commentary, and he was going crazy about the game. What are your memories about that game?
I mean, it was really an amazing day. I mean, if anybody in college basketball, when the number one team comes to your gym, it's going to be sold out. In the ACC, anytime you play Duke or Carolina, it's probably going to be sold out. So this is, I think, maybe shoot around that day. We're at the gym and we leave the gym and there's people already lined up outside waiting to get into the doors, and the game is like 7 hours from that point. So it was just a special day. I mean, it started like any other day, and you don't really know exactly, how it's gonna go, but went to shoot around, left, got some lunch, went and got a haircut, took a nap, came back to the gym. But what ensued after that, is just like Coachell telling us, we were ready for this moment. This moment is made for us, to go out and have fun playing basketball with your friends. Really nothing more complicated than that. And I think at that point when the game started, we were just very ready and very intense, setting the tone on the defensive end and getting some stops. And we were getting out in transition and converting those into easy baskets. And then you kind of see when you get 2 or 3 stops and you're getting steals and blocking shots and they're leading to threes and dunks and nobody's missing, that you have a chance to have a special day. I think something that kind of flies under the radar about that day is the job that Durant Scott did on Seth Curry, that he didn't score. He was 0 for 10 or 11 or something like that. And he was coming into the game averaging, I want to say, 20 points. So, this is a huge, huge thing for a team like that and a guy like that to take that challenge on personally, to shut that guy down. And, Duke, they live by the pressure. They pressure the ball and they live by the three. So if you're beating their pressure from your guards, which Shane and Durant was doing from the very beginning of the game, you're going to have a chance to beat them. And on the other end, if you're guarding the three-point line well and rebound the ball well, you're going to have a great chance to beat them. And I think it just was a perfect storm, a hurricane, if you will, at the right place at the right time that made, this amazing night happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you referenced Durant Scott, who did an amazing job that night guarding Seth Curry. I think people forget, too, how good he was defensively, just because of the way he played offensively. Right. So it's amazing to hear you say that. And also too, that, I just remember the energy of that game. I was actually watching with one of my friends who's a Duke fan. And so you can imagine how that went. I was hyped up. He was not. But that was, and people forget too, that was a legit Duke squad. They had Quinn Cook, they had Seth Curry, Ryan Kelly was on the team too. A lot of those guys were in the league. Oh yeah, he was out that game. He was in the
Kelly
game.
Didn't play.
Yeah, he was when you guys played them at Duke, he played that game. But he was but still that team was still really good.
Yeah, I mean, even talking about Ryan Kelly, that's another game that is for sure one of probably the best in college basketball history. Like when we went to Duke and played them and he came back, like I think we were both top 5 at the time, but that game was amazing.
Yeah, it was a crazy season. And we're talking about all these memories. What's your like fondest memory of that 2012-2013 season? I feel like you're gonna say probably the ACC championship, but is there another one as well?
I mean, that one for sure is number one. I mean, just because I'm from North Carolina, I was a North Carolina fan my entire life. And North Carolina, even in school during the ACC tournament, the teachers pulled the TV into the room and we watched the games. This is normal year by year, no matter where you go, middle school, high school, like this is what we were doing during the ACC tournament. So to have an opportunity to do that, my last time playing there, with my family in attendance, with my friends in attendance, like that was an amazing moment. To try to pick something else from that, I think again Carolina beating them at home when we were in Miami and D Wade and LeBron were at the game. Like,
oh
yeah, that was pretty cool, man. I mean, you get an opportunity to see some of these guys that you idolize and you watch them on TV and they're at your game watching you play. So, that was an exciting time for us. But yeah, those are my fondest memories for sure.
Was that the game where Shane threw the alley-oop off the backboard to Kenny?
Yeah,
was that the same
was
game? Okay, yeah. I remember that because I remember LeBron and D Wade going crazy when that happened.
Yeah. And then like maybe 2 days later, they did it in a game, and they were talking about, they did it. They did it because they went to the Miami game and saw the young boys do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's crazy. So let's talk about that ACC championship. It's the only one in Miami's history, and you're a part of it. Like, what does that mean to you when you look back and you remember this team and that tournament run?
Oh, it's special, man. I mean, you think about going to the tournament, and for me, having been at 6 of them, playing in 4, I was there for 6 years. So, I've seen this tournament many a times. I've seen teams be upset on the first day that are supposed to win the championship, which almost happened to us. So, even the first day and struggling with Boston College a little bit and, going down to the wire with them. And then, the next day we have to play NC State, who we beat at the buzzer. So at their place during the season. So we knew that, this wasn't going to be an easy route. And then finally in the championship game, playing against Carolina, who we had already beaten twice, once in Chapel Hill and badly in Miami, is all of the motivation that you need to, beat a team after they've beaten you twice. So, and also playing in Greensboro, which is a glorified home game for Carolina. And this is Carolina, I think at the time, maybe their 5th consecutive ACC championship game. And they hadn't won one in that streak. So for sure, this is something that they talked about and wanting to break that streak. But, even if you remember that game and I was able to have a great game, but it was just so many threes, like from both sides. And what's crazy about it is this summer, I played in a summer league with PJ Harrison. I played on his team. So, of course, I'm giving him a hard time about that game. Because, I walk up and he's like, yo, you want to play with us? I was like, yeah. And then the guys on the team are asking, like, who is this? I was like, just ask PJ. He'll tell you who I am. He knows who I am. Like, so he doesn't want to talk about that. But, PJ's a good dude. But he shot the ball amazing. And this was at a time where he had like a cut, some stitches in his hand. And I swear it made his jump shot better. Like it was, PJ Harrison, Reggie Bullock, Marcus Page, Trey, Shane, Ryan, Kenny, like it was threes going up everywhere. And it's just like, I felt like every time somebody shot, it was going in the basket. And I want to say maybe at halftime, the score might've been like 51-49 or something like that.
Yeah.
And both of the teams were probably shooting 50 or 60% from 3.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was That was some crazy stuff, man. I just remember just everyone unleashing, like you said, everything. I feel like the basket was way bigger than it actually was, if that makes sense, because everyone
Yeah,
was draining.
absolutely, absolutely. I
I
mean,
thought you
and
were gonna
even in
pop.
the
I thought you were gonna pop out and take one too.
no, man, I'm not messing with that. I definitely didn't need to do that on that team. I was setting so many screens for everybody, trying to just get people open, because it's just like, when somebody got it going, I don't even want to look at the basket. I want to get him open so he can get going, because I just care about winning. Like,
Yeah.
in the first half, I think they had made a sub, and I forget what his name was, but long story short, it was a guy that wasn't very good with the pick and roll. So maybe for 5 minutes, we didn't run a play. All I did was set ball screen after ball screen after ball screen, like 3 or 4 in one possession, just to get him to a point where he wasn't guarding it, and Shane would hit a three. He would pass it to Ryan. Ryan would hit a three, or Trey would hit a three. Like, that's just all we were doing for 5 minutes. And coach eventually took him out, and he didn't play anymore.
That's funny, man. So obviously, you guys win the ACC tournament. You guys move on to the NCAA tournament. You guys make it to the Sweet 16. This was such a good team. But I think it just goes to show, like, the tournament, it's called March Madness for a reason, right?
Right.
This kind of stuff happens. Looking back on that game against Marquette, is there anything that, like, sticks out to you in that game that you're like, oh, like, could have done this, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm sure you still have some things that you think of in regards to that
absolutely. I
game.
mean, we think about it, and normally, when I think about the season, I don't really think about that game. I try not to. But it was just a tough time for us. I mean, the ACC tournament, we went back to Miami for a day before we had to leave to go to Austin. We played those 2 games, beat Illinois at the wire to go to the Sweet 16. We go back to Miami for a day, and then we have to go to DC. So now you're talking about the month of March, and we have been home for 2 days. We've been in a hotel nonstop this entire time. And which game was it? The first game in the NCAA tournament, we lose
Pacific.
Reggie. Yeah, he hurts his knee, which hurts us. Of course, we got a guy down. And even going into DC, man, it was a lot of things. Like, I had a sinus infection, which I didn't know. I mean, if you know anything about having sinus infections, it's like I had really bad inflammation. So it was to the point where, like, I couldn't be in a room with lights. Like, it would kind of make me a little bit nauseous. Like, I couldn't lay down and sleep, because if you lay down, it builds the pressure. So I'm dealing with this. I think Durant also had an injury, but it wasn't like, all of this stuff is not things we were even talking about. Shane had food poisoning the night before the game, like that, and I'm his roommate. So 4 a.m, I'm in the bathroom with him trying to make sure that he's okay, because he can't keep anything down. And of course, like, all credit to Marquette. They came out and they played extremely physical. They knew who we were and what they had to do, and they did it. But it was just kind of a time where it's like all of these kind of unfortunate things added up to make it almost insurmountable to be able to still, get the victory.
Yeah.
So, you have, I don't even know if regret could really be the right word, but just because of everything that was happening. But, again, credit to Marquette, and they shot the ball amazing that day, which then 2 days later, they shoot terrible. So then you always think about that. It's like, come on, like, one day you're going to score 80. The next day, I think they play Syracuse. And I know Syracuse plays the zone, but they, I think, score like 48 points or something. Like, and us against that Syracuse zone would have been way different with the way that we shot the ball on a consistent basis. So, when you think about that, of course, you think about, like, man, I wish we would have, found a way to win that game. Then we had a better chance 2 days later. Maybe been talking about a Final Four instead of a Sweet 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's kind of shift gears a little bit. College career wraps up. You decide to go play overseas. I believe you played in France, right? Was that your first?
Yeah, France first
experience? So when you first landed there, like, what was, or not maybe just when you landed there, but like, what was your first, like, culture shock moment that you're like, oh my God, I'm in another country?
It was when I first landed there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you get off the phone and you get off the plane, and the first thing you realize is your phone doesn't work because you're not in the States anymore. You don't have international service. Nobody told me this previous to me getting there that I should do that. So that was the first shock. I didn't know how far away my city was from the airport. So that was the second one. Not to mention that the vice president of the team picked me up, and his English is like bare minimum, hello, goodbye type English. So I couldn't ask him where we were going or what was going on, what the schedule for the day was, anything like that. So we probably drive maybe an hour and 20 minutes to this small town, south of Lyon. And he drops me off. He didn't give me the password for the Wi-Fi, so I still haven't talked to anybody back home. And an hour later, he comes back and like, all right, come on, it's time to go to practice. Like, well, I haven't eaten at all because I don't have any food in my place and they haven't given me anything. And now I'm going into the gym and I'm the first American there. The other two guys are veterans, so they know they're not going to come. I got there at the end of July, like July 31st, which is, never happens overseas. So they get there maybe, I think, 3 or 4 days later, and, they're starting to put me on game and everything. But all of this first week was like a culture shock to the point where, like, I called back home and was like, I think I'm about to just come back home because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Yeah, like it was rough, man. I mean, even going to training camp, we went to a training camp up there. Again, I don't have any phone service. So all day I'm not able to talk to anybody unless I like get one of my teammates' phones to be able to call back home for 10, 15 minutes. But we're, running up and down stairs in the rain, running up and down mountains, like practicing 2-3 times a day. It was just, I was like, I don't know what I signed up for, but I don't like it.
That's crazy, man. I think it's interesting hearing the overseas stories. And obviously, I don't know if you saw like what happened with like Malcolm Grant, that whole situation. Yeah. So it's crazy, like, because I feel like there's no light that's being shed on some of these issues and stuff of things that know happen overseas. And people don't realize it happens until something like that comes out.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I still talk to Malcolm. I mean, one unique thing about the Miami basketball program is it is a brotherhood. And a lot of those guys that I played with over all of my years, I still stay in contact with to this day. So, we have our chat, on our iPhones, and we're in there almost every day. We talk about kids, family, basketball, everything. So the support is definitely still there. But I mean, I think this is what happened with Malcolm, and it's very unfortunate because he doesn't deserve it. He's just a man trying to provide for his family right now. But these types of things do happen. I mean, I haven't personally experienced anything to this level. But I think when it comes to overseas basketball in general, it's going to be very difficult to shed light on it all. You can shed light on parts of it, but I would kind of describe it as having a small flashlight down a dark hallway. Like, you'll be able to see a little bit, but you're not going to see the whole picture. And the only way you can see it is if you go to it. That's the way that you're going to learn about it. So, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to travel all around the world. I mean, I played in France, Germany, Belgium, Spain now, China, and Italy. And, I've had my culture shock moments in each of these different places, but now being out here for my 9th season, I know how to adjust and, move in different places, except for China. China is like a different world, and you need somebody with you, and I can't figure it out for the life of me. And yeah, I was over there for a few months, and that was tough. But overseas, man, I mean, it is a different world. It's a different life. It's a different culture everywhere you go.
Yeah. And I got to congratulate you too, because you're a champion now, right?
Yeah, man, I got my first one. It eluded me for 8 years, and I finally got one in Italy last season. So in a historic fashion, by the way, I mean, we were the first team in Italian basketball history to sweep the entire playoffs, go 10-0 from the beginning to the end to win the championship.
Wow.
So an amazing accomplishment. I mean, that team is stacked full of guys that are huge college careers and numbers and huge overseas careers and championships. And, you know, you got guys like Teodosi's on the team and even Marco Bellinelli. Like, it's just a really, really good team, man. Really good guys. And everybody was really committed to winning. I mean, we had an amazing coach and an amazing staff and outstanding fan base behind us that even still, again, to this day, I stay in contact with a lot of those fans, and a lot of those fans are part of my support system now, and I don't even play for that team anymore. So, I mean, I think that's just kind of like a testament to, you know, the special bond that we were able to create there. I played there for 2 seasons, you know, and still staying in contact with some of the players, and, you know, every once in a while, even the coach, even though he's now coaching in a different club as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you know, you referenced this in your initial answer too. You were talking about all the Miami guys and how they stay in contact. Talking about, I know you guys have a group chat. Malcolm told me about that, and you guys all could stay in contact with each other. But let me ask you something. So obviously, there's a TBT team for Miami now, Category 5 Canes. We talked about it a little earlier. Brian Brown, Davon Reed, Durand, Kamari, they all played for that team. Malcolm was supposed to, but obviously, you know, life happens.
Right.
So if you had to build your own team to go against those guys, I think Zach Johnson actually too was on that team as well.
Zach played. Yep.
Yeah. So if you had to build a 5 to go against that 5, who would your 5 be?
5 Miami guys to go against those.
Yeah,
5?
all Miami guys to go against them.
I mean, if I can pick anybody, I'm gonna go myself, Kenny, Trey, Shane, and Daquan Jones. I mean, they're good, but even out of the guys that you named, they don't have all 5 positions the same way.
They don't have a point guard, and that was the biggest problem, I think. One of the biggest problems.
So, I mean, with the size of the 5 that I just named, with the athleticism and the skill too, like, and guys that are versatile, they can play multiple positions, like, and that would be very tough to compete with.
Easy money.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I got a final, it's like an Elite 8 of kind of like some quick hitter questions.
Okay.
If you're down.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First one. I know you're a movie guy. I heard that. What's your favorite basketball movie?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Favorite basketball movie, I'm going to go Above the Rim.
Oh, okay. Above the Rim. Yeah, that's a good one, man. What's your overall favorite movie? Sorry, this isn't another one. I'm just curious now.
Overall favorite movie. Well, now, like, I watch a lot of movies over again, and I think one that I really like is The Nutty Professor.
Oh yeah.
I think that movie was like before its time, and the amount of roles that Eddie Murphy was able to play on the same set, like, that's so amazing to me, especially at this time where, like, technology was nowhere near as advanced as it is now. But I think both of those movies, me and my wife, you know, are still some of our top movies of all time. But I mean, then you have other movies like Avatar, which is amazing, like the Batman trilogy, stuff like that. Man, I could go on all day. If I could make a list, then I would. But yeah, I watch movies. I watch a lot of movies. So yeah, I'm definitely a big movie guy.
Yeah, that's a solid list. I like it. All right, next one. The last song you listened to.
Oh, the last song that I listened to, Kanye West, Family Business.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
I like Ye. Okay.
Actually, just because I was making this reel with some pictures that me and my family just recently took. So I just was listening to the song, you know, thinking about a good family song and something to kind of put you in a good mood. So be on the lookout for that content coming soon, our family reel of our family business.
Okay. I got you. Okay, next one. Craziest thing you've eaten while overseas.
Some like very close to raw octopus. That was actually just the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in this place called Santiago, Spain, and they're very well known for seafood and different things that they do with octopus and cuisine. So I tried it, and it was very, very fishy. It was very fishy.
I'm sure that thing was still like moving around when you ate it.
Man, it wasn't slimy, so that kind of like took out that part of nasty, but it was like kind of rubbery. And I ate one piece. I'm open-minded enough to at least
Mhm.
try it. And then I've seen some things in China, but that stuff I just couldn't eat. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't eat it.
Yeah. All right, next one. Biggest pet peeve.
Biggest pet peeve is probably wasting time. Sometimes I feel, or maybe just when it comes to being on time. Like if we're gonna do something, we got to do it at this time. We got to be. I'm always a guy that's like, drumline. If you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Like I'm always early. I don't like messing with time because I don't like rushing, and I just like anybody that I'm involved with to be on the same page because time is the only thing that we have that we're not going to get back.
I gotta apologize to you then because I sent you this link like 2 minutes after the fact.
Well, it's different because it's my free time. So like if I had
Oh, I
something else to
got
do,
you.
I'd be like, all right, come on, bro, we got to get it going. But this evening, like, I'm just relaxing right now. Like I got a movie on the TV. I'm about to, do some reading. Like this is just, my leisure time. But
Yeah,
if my family and my children was here, it would probably be a problem because I would have to go do something with them.
I got you. Okay, next one. Favorite non-basketball athlete.
My favorite non-basketball athlete. The first name that's popping into my head is Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, athletically, what she's been able to accomplish is second to none in the sport. But just the adversity that she's had to overcome, especially when it comes to injuries and still being able to try to stay at the top of her game. Starting a family and being a professional, like especially for a woman, I think I know that it's probably a million times more difficult for a professional woman athlete to start a family and then get back to her sport and be back at the level that she was playing in. So I have a lot of admiration, for her in being able to do what she's done. And, I think she's a good role model for not just girls that want to compete at a high level, but athletes in general. Somebody that did it and did it the right way.
Absolutely. So this next one, favorite word from another language, like a slang word or something. I'm sure you picked up on a couple of things.
Yeah, all of my favorite words are curse words, just because that's what the ones that they say the most.
I'm sure.
I don't. Other than those, I don't really have a really favorite one.
That's what I was gonna
It's
kind of
just
figure.
yeah, it's curse words in 5 different languages. Like that's all it is. Just because it's like I said. For me, it's funny. Like I definitely like to stay and be as lighthearted as possible while we're playing because it can get more serious. And we're away from home for 10 months, so you got to have some fun. So it's just those little things. And of course, like when your teammates teach you the language, they teaching you the bad words first.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
it ain't nothing but a whole bunch of curse words that I don't even want to teach nobody else.
All right, man. Next one. There's 2 more left. Favorite shoes to
Okay.
hoop in.
Favorite shoes to hoop in, I would say some Kobe's. I've been playing in like I want to say they're the fives, Kobe fives right now.
Okay.
I have a couple of pairs of those. Retro 10s, Jordans are some of my favorite because they're super comfortable. So I would say either some Kobe's, and there's different models of Kobe's. I've played in a bunch of different ones that I like a lot because I actually really like low tops, which apparently is different for bigs, but they're lighter shoes and they're comfortable to me, and I like to have something lighter on my feet. So I would say either some Kobe's or some Retro 10s.
Okay. Respect. What the last one? what would you be doing if you weren't playing basketball? There's a reason why I'm asking this too.
Yeah, probably coaching or being an agent or maybe commentate. Like I love the game. I've been told that I will be a great coach. I've been told that I will be a good agent, and I've been told that I would be good at, commentating or, doing something like that. I mean, I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy helping people and helping them to be the best version of themselves as they can be. And then, in any way that I can help that, I will. So yeah, one of those three.
The reason why I ask is because when I was doing some research, I was on YouTube. I saw a few videos of you interviewing the women's Miami's women's head coach, Coach Meyer. And then there's another coach as well. I can't remember who the other person was. And I was like, this guy got some interview skills. I wonder if he's thought about doing that.
You know what? This was me and Malcolm did this, and it was part of our internship at the sports media office our senior year. And it was like so basically fans were typing in questions and we would interview the people, and we literally did it all day. Like we interviewed athletes, coaches, like just people, staff in the athletic department. Like it was, I don't know why somebody hasn't tried to do that again. I think that was a pretty cool concept, and it was all live. Like they recorded it and then put it on YouTube, but at the time it was all live, and we were doing that all day. But it's definitely something that I could see myself doing if the opportunity presented itself.
Yeah. Hey man, I just want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. I hope you enjoyed, going down those memories and stuff, talking about them, because, this was a really cool thing for me as a Miami Hurricane basketball fan. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, it was cool. Definitely talking about some memories, having some laughs, and bringing up some of these old stories is always good.
Yeah. Hopefully we can talk again. Maybe we can have some of the guys on at the same time if, the schedules permit at some point. That would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that if we could set it up, it would be super cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man, and have a good night.
Yeah, thank you.
Support for Canes Calling is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free shipping worldwide with the code GOCANES at manscaped.com.